One of the most important contributions of Frank Ocean's work can be found in his expression of modern masculinity through his music. Popular hip-hop and R&B of the 2000s decade revolved heavily around hypermasculinity, which was rooted in hegemonic oppression of race, gender, and sexuality. This form of hypermasculinity was popular in said genres because of its ability to display agency and control under discriminatory and socioeconomic exploitation. This often came in the form of putting down or dehumanizing women and queer people who were seen as weaker in the social hierarchy. Frank Ocean's rise into music popularity then, during the early 2010s, was seen as countercultural in the way he wrote, released, and was seen by others for his music. He released his first mixtape for free online and joined the group Odd Future in rebellion of his then record label. At the time, artist Lil Wayne substituted "no homo" for "no Frank Ocean" in a lyric. While Ocean's more honest, intimate, and queer expression of masculinity was somewhat accepted, as his music was labeled, it was still generally against the grain with his popular genre contemporaries. Ocean's lyrics include different male characters that examine the performance and nature of masculinity. He challenges the hypermasculine trope that men need to hide their feelings, whether that be deep pain or expressing different forms of love. On Frank's mixtape Nostalgia Ultra, the track "There Will Be Tears" is a profound example of vulnerable artistic communication. He expresses sadness at the loss of his grandfather, who was a father figure in his father's absence, by crying in front of others, despite knowing that's not the norm for boys. He mourns his father's absence in his life, which is renewed in his mind. Frank uses imagery of hiding his face so as not to have others see him cry. But he can't stop himself. When he is told he can't miss what he didn't have, he is defiant that he can in fact do so. On Ocean's song Bad Religion from his debut album Channel Orange, his character expresses a large range of emotions abnormal to traditional masculinity. He has a breakdown in front of a taxi driver who is clearly a stranger, begging for him to listen and console him. There is double meaning in the unrequited love that the character expresses. He is unloved by a male interest referenced throughout the album, and also by God, due to religion's view and interpretation of queer people. He cannot make God or this other man return his love, and it tears him up inside. Frank mentions having multiple lives balanced on the edge of a knife. He is trying to balance different identities to others and to himself. Frank Ocean's vulnerable characters and lyrics are an unashamed expression of masculinity and artistry. The freedom of vulnerability allows for others to relate to his work in a much more compelling way, through confronting the self.